This standing chat is hosted by HumbleWorks, the designers and manufacturers of quality, ergonomically designed standing desks and related products. Over the next few weeks, we'll be speaking to Dr James Levine, the authority on the benefits of standing versus sitting. He's received more than 50 awards in the field of science, started more than 24 companies, and is the author of Get Up, a book which opened the eyes of millions of people to our modern sedentary lifestyle and the health issues behind sitting down for extended periods of time. Hello, Dr James Levine, lovely to meet you.
Hi India, lovely to meet you too, and thank you for inviting me to this. It's absolutely fantastic.
I've got so much I want to ask you. I'm fascinated by everything that you talk about in your book, Get Up. But let's start from the beginning. Okay, so if you can just paint a picture for me, how are our lives different right now in modern society to our ancestors? Because I know that this is kind of the root of everything that you've been researching in your time.
I mean, I think the first thing to understand is that our lives are not different.
Right.
People are people. We live in the environments in which we find ourselves, which we create, which we share. People, as they were emerging early in our evolution from the forests of Africa and spreading across the world, did so on their legs. They were striving through innate drives to survive, to find shelter, to reproduce, to nurture their young, to feed. And when you fundamentally think about it, that isn't different to now. We are all living through constant drives to do exactly the same thing. Now, what is different is how the environment in which we find ourselves has fundamentally changed. 1 million years ago, everything was done with our bodies, with our legs, in motion. In modern times, everything is done from a chair. Whether it's the drive to work, whether it's sitting at home in the evening, shopping, whether it's pressing a button on the washing machine to wash our clothes, whether it's living our lives behind a screen at work. The human body never evolved to sit all day long. The human body evolved to move. The human being is fundamentally the same as she and he was thousands of years ago, but we've been placed confined into a chair-based lifestyle that is simply not natural.
It's amazing you say that, because actually I've never really realised how much my lifestyle revolves around a chair. Like you say, you get up out of your bed, you sit down to eat breakfast, you then get in your car, you then go to work, you sit down behind a desk, you then get up, you then sit down to have your lunch.
Think about also all the peripheral things in that exact same day. We, or at least even I, don't remember what it is to take a family's washing load and wash clothes by hand. How do I wash my clothes? I put them in a machine. I don't even pour out the washing powder anymore. I put a pod in the machine. I press a button and I go and order a pizza. What I have no recollection of is what my grandma used to do, which was to take the family wash and hand scrub pieces of clothing against washboards, washing and then drying and then pinning up in the garden. Think about plates. How many of us have a machine to wash our plates? We don't even walk down to the mailbox. We click email. When you start to break it down, it's extraordinary.
Our society is obsessed with convenience. Totally obsessed with convenience. And the more convenience we have, the more that we want. So if we, looking at the future, if we continue in this way, what does the future hold? You know, what could we be looking at in 100 years' time?
There's a fantastic film called Wall-E where that scenario is painted. And basically, it's the idea of birth to death in the chair. From the moment of birth through education, learning, adulthood, through old age into the coffin is entirely spent on our bottoms and on our backs. And you might think, well, that is an insane and very dangerous thought. I'm not sure it's that far from what's actually happened right now. Now, when you start to think about it, you could say all of these tools of convenience free up great swathes of time for us to do other stuff. And you might argue that's fantastic. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I really don't like washing my clothes by hand. It doesn't give me pleasure. And so having a machine that does it for me is fantastic. The trouble with all of this is that although that argument may be valid, the trouble is there has been a consequence to taking the human body, pushing it in a chair, albeit from life to death, and watching what happens. The consequence is not only physical health, but mental health, and I would say our spirit too. It's like we have this innate freedom inside of ourselves that we've given up, we've capitulated to a life spent stuck, still, from birth till death. A dark picture, but true. The good news is we can reverse it.
And this is what we're going to be chatting to you about for the next few episodes to come.
Let's do it.
Absolutely, super excited.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.